Hello and welcome to another LSB Film podcast. I hope everyone's well today, and today's guest, Colin Gibbons, takes us deep into the world of deception, unpacking how corporations, governments and even courts manipulate trust to exploit us financially, physically and spiritually. From fraudulent contracts to the misuse of names, titles and laws, Colin argues that the very systems meant to protect us have been turned against us. We will explore how biblical principles, Newtonian and quantum physics, and even astrology reveal the hidden structures behind control, and how recognising these tricks could help us to reclaim strength, our sovereignty, and our connection to spirit. This conversation is about pulling back the curtain on power, deception, and of course, the struggle for truth. Let's get into it.
Are you concerned about all this corruption being rebranded as conspiracy theory? Well, don't you worry. Sit back and relax and join in the conversation with today's guest. Welcome to another LSB Film Productions podcast with your host, Chris Brooks.
Very warm welcome to the show again, Colin.
Hello there.
Nice to see you.
But can you really see me, Chris?
Well, you're being filmed via a potato, but I can make you out, if that helps. But no, I like your trains, by the way. I like
only
your
my
trains.
body.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, I can't see your inner being. I can only see your exterior.
Which is what we're going to discuss.
Yes, I can see your meat body. And without further ado, yes, let's get into this. Begin.
Oh, sorry. Right. Yes, we're all quite into sort of law and the interpretation law on this channel, and it's the nature of law and how law operates. And what I had realized, and a fair few other folks have realized and written about this, is the importance of the Bible in a courtroom. And I've come to the conclusion that the Bible is a contract with the devil. So when you swear an oath on the devil, you forsake your own God and take the protection of the devil for whatever crime you may have committed. Now, it would seem that this system has been heavily abused by the governments of the world on this earth for the purposes of their own gain to the detriment of everybody else. And it's all to do with names, titles, and what those names and titles pertain to as regards property and who the property belongs to. So if you get reading your Bible, you'll understand that in the beginning, God created the earth. So that would suggest that the contract with the devil states that God Almighty created the entirety of the earth and everything on it within the physical realm. And the physical realm is the third dimension, which is you sort of, as you noted just a moment ago, your meat suit body, which you have control over through a soul connection. And your soul is animated by the Spirit of God. So therefore, your spirit is of God. And therefore, whatever that spirit controls also belongs to God. It doesn't belong to the devil unless you sin. Now, interestingly, the etymological root of the word sin is to join, which is where you get synthesis from on synthetic, because a thesis is an idea. So if you have an idea of joining two things together, then you end up with...
But isn't that SY as opposed to SI?
That's how it's spelled. You see, you're into magic and spells with words, word spells.
Again, can you blame me with all these bloody people talking to me about word magic?
Well, it is word magic.
It is.
It's becoming more and more apparent by the day for me. It's quite, I mean, it's very interesting. It's also very frightening. But then also in the Bible, you see, God created man in his own image. Well, I've never met anybody who knows exactly what God looks like. Nobody can find God and point to him and say, there he is, there's God over there.
Didn't the original Bible say in our image, as in to imply more than one God?
Well, we'll get to that. It'll become apparent. That will be an epiphany, shall we say, which is, again, an interesting word. because epiphany is the manifestation of God on earth. Because within these different realms, you've got to understand dimensionality. So a realm is a dimension. So the realm that we inhabit, that we experience through our bodies, is the third dimension. So the third dimension.
So what you're saying is we project our reality out.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You project. We are all concurrently projecting our own realities from the mind of God. But then you've got to understand, what state of mind are you in? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You see, because you're in a good state of mind, then you'll produce a good reality. Because only nasty people behave badly.
Yeah, so it comes back down to that old adage again. Where thoughts create your reality. You
think happy
think
things
into existence.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Got to change that.
Another way of looking at that is worrying is saying prayers for stuff you don't want. Anybody who worries, oh, what about this? What about that? What about war and cancer and death and misery? Well, how's your life going? What
Do you know what? And
about?
I will be completely honest with you here. The only things I've ever prayed for really is the protection of my family.
Has it worked so far?
Yeah.
Good.
But honestly, that's it. I don't pray for fast cars or any of that stuff. To my knowledge, I don't.
But you don't need them.
Hmm?
You don't need them.
No, you don't.
Not at all. So anyway, right. So I've got, as usual, a load of notes. I'll have to reach down and get them every now and again, because otherwise I'll confuse my little self. And it's all to do with numbers, because mathematics holds the physical universe together. So you can define the physical realm that we're in, and any realm of an order and magnitude below the third dimensional realm with mathematics very easily. And through differential calculus, you can then calculate the ratios between dimensions as well. But where it breaks down is when you go of an order of magnitude above the third dimensional realm, because then you're into fourth dimensions. Because in the third dimension, we have up, down, in, out, and back, and left and right, you see. So you've got three axes of motion. So you can, as I say, and then you've got two directions. So you've got 6 degrees of freedom. If you imagine you're on Cartesian coordinates, you can start at a point, you can go up, down from that point, you can go in and out of the page from that point, or you can go left and right. So there's your X, Y, and Z axes on a graph, if you understand your mathematics in that direction. So if you understand the vector of a motion, then you know where it's going to end up through argument, which again, you're sort of getting into court language with the word argument. So if you're a point in time in space and you move in a direction, you have argument. So if the coppers say you punch somebody, then you have an argument with that person. And then they view that in a time. So all things can be measured in space and time within the third dimension, and everything can be nailed down, and you can't move it because you can write it down in the second dimension on a piece of paper, and then it's there. But if you're a fourth dimensional being, i.e. in your own mind, you can be in two places at once. Because I can think what I had to lunch this afternoon, today, or I can think about when I'm having tea this evening. So, but what am I doing now? I'm talking to you. I'm not having lunch, but I can still think about it, which is projecting my mind into the future or projecting my mind into the past. So I'm here now in the third dimension, but I'm projecting my mind both backwards and forwards. And talking to you at the same time.
Past, present, and future.
Yeah. So that's a different dimension, but you can't do that in reality. I can't go back downstairs and have my dinner again because that's been and gone. And I can't have my tea yet because it's not tea time and it's not been prepared. But I can think about it.
But you can only think about one thing at a time, though, can't you? You can't think about something in the future and in the past at the same time.
If in the fourth dimension, that may be true, but I would suggest that in the fifth dimension, which is the true God, possibly yes. But that's a dimension above what we are currently capable of accessing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I get confused, all I will say is, Colin, I have a belly button.
Yes.
Okay, that will
Right.
be my. So if I get confused at any point, it would just be Colin. I have a belly button, and then you can explain a bit more. Okay,
Radio.
so let
So,
carry on then.
I've been looking into the base 10 number series. Now, in base 10, there's actually only 9 numbers with value as natural numbers. And when I
What,
say
because
natural
zeros are
numbers,
nothing.
no, zero's a whole number.
It's only a whole number with a number in front of it, though, isn't it?
Well, no, not necessarily. It's a whole number because it represents a start point, but it depends on how you're working. If you're working in a whole number series on orders of magnitude, then the zero can represent a start point. Well, the number 1 is the start point within that dimension. So if you're in the third dimension, you can either have 1 apple or no apples. Well, if there's no apples, there's no apple. So that's a natural number. You can't say, oh, look.
So is that a little bit like, just trying to think of something simplistic for my little brain, because I have a belly button? Is that like
Yeah,
a house or a flat? You can have the first floor, but that's technically that floor.
yeah.
They're not counting the
Start
ground
from,
floor as the first floor.
no, because ground floor is 0, isn't it?
Right. Okay. So it's the same
So
principle,
that's the
basically.
original. That's the origin. That's what's coming out of the
Okay.
hole in a dimensional sort of way of looking at it.
Hmm.
Now, interestingly, religious symbols point to this, and the Celtic cross is one of those symbols. Now, the Celtic cross is St. Cuthbert's device, and it's got tapering out sort of bars, and in the middle they have a ruby, and that's his device. Now, if you start looking at Fibonacci series, waveforms, and rainbows, then if you imagine a rainbow as a full circle, if you're
A rainbow
on
is
the
a full
ground,
circle, isn't it?
well, there is, yeah, but you
Mm.
only ever see half of it because the
Yeah.
other half's actually under the ground. So you're looking at a tunnel of light, or is it a sphere of light? And it's all perspective because people can see the same rainbow from all different
Yeah.
angles.
See, this is what I don't understand, because to me, a rainbow is caused supposedly by the refraction of light on the rain in the air, and that's what
But it can
causes.
also,
But how can you see that underground? There's no rain underground, so what's causing it underground?
well, the light coming from the sun, which is up in the sky, is
Mm.
falling onto the earth,
Mm.
and it creates that rainbow. So what I'm postulating is, you see, this is getting into flat Earth, globe Earth debate, and then you've got to understand perspective. Oh my God, this is mind. Can't believe I'm saying this, but your perspective from the third dimension in your meat suit, which is third dimensional, everything appears to be two-dimensional because it's rendered onto a flat surface at the back of your eye. And that's what you see. So, I mean, I'm
Mm.
looking at you in a screen now. Now, I appreciate there's three-dimensionality to you, but that screen's dead flat.
Mm.
But I can still see that it's your meat suit body in the third dimension.
Mm.
So you've
You
got,
can certainly see the illusion's broken when I do a profile.
yeah, well, I mean, there's a door in the background, a guitar, bookshelves, in front of you is the microphone. Now, I understand that through perspective of my third dimension, but the picture itself is indeed flat. However, if you project that into your mind, then I've got a good idea of what the back of the chair looks like, again, through experience, but that's only because it's been projected back into my mind through my soul connection. So if you're looking at a rainbow, you're traveling down a venturi where the frequency of the light increases to a point, it becomes white light, disappears, you can't see it because you can't see white light. But if you split it, and again, you're looking at your Pink Floyd guitar, you've seen the 7 colors. So to flow between the poles, the polarities of the sun, and wherever the sun is radiating to, and I
Mm.
would suggest that's the black earth. So the sun above radiates white light onto the Earth, and that is slowing down in frequency to the point that you can see things. So a rock is an extraordinarily high density of light, whereas the sun is a very low density of light. So then if you look into what's known as electron dipole theory,
Isn't that the opposite way round? Wouldn't the sun be high density light and a rock could be low density light?
No, because what you're seeing is the light. Because if you get into, well, this is the theory of electron dipole theory, flood theory, where basically you send an electron and a muon down a Venturi tube, which looks like St. Cuthbert's cross, and then it goes down the tube, it's compressed, and then apparently the muons don't go any further and they're black, but the white electrons carry on going through the 0 point, which is the center of the Venturis, and then pops out the other side and reattaches to another muon. Now they're saying that's quantum. Well, if it's quantum, then it's fourth dimensional. It's been in two places at once. How did the muon get from one place to another past the 0 point? Because the electron gave up its energy on implosion technology, which is nuclear fusion, not nuclear fission.
Okay, and just so I'm keeping up, where do the base numbers come into this?
What do you mean your base numbers?
Because
the base 10. Sorry,
sorry, well, base 10.
So if you start with nothing, then it's white, and then you get to number 1, which is
right. Okay, so
black.
okay.
But you see, the black is an order of magnitude above the origination. Does that make sense? So you start with a 1 and you end with a 10. So 10 is a control over that. It's very hard to explain. Sort of, it's in my head, but you can't get it out. It's really difficult. So if you're looking at orders of magnitude, a 10 is an order of magnitude above a 1 because it's 10 times bigger. And 100 is an order of magnitude above a 1. So above a 10. And then 1,000 is an order. So you're looking at your orders of magnitude there.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So your original order of natural numbers, 1 to 9, has no 0 on the end of it. Your 0 after the next order of magnitude is the first number in that series, which is a 10. So you've got to scale yourself up to get up in the orders of magnitude. And I've managed to link this into Bible series through the Fibonacci series, because they say that 13 is an unlucky number. Well, it depends who it's unlucky for, because the 13th Fibonacci number, with the first one being a 0.
Is that the shell-like frequency thing?
Yeah, that's the golden mean spiral.
Yeah.
It's 144. So basically, if you're looking at your base 10 number series and your first orders of magnitude, then your original order is 1 to 9. So that's a cycle. And you do 9 original cycles, you get an order of magnitude, which is 10. And then you do another 11 of the original order, and you get to 100. And then you're into the 1,000 series. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But the frequency is getting higher. So you've got a big, long, low frequency of time where nothing much happens because you're at low frequency, because you're at a low order of magnitude on waveform progression as you're getting towards center point. Now, if you understand the 9/11 ritual in 2001, I've got my little numbers written down.
I'm now doing a video on that in preparation for 9/11.
Oh my lordy! I've got to find my bloody pieces of paper. It's on the back of this one.
Right. I'll just have my hands up here so I know when to edit.
It's all right. Shit, blimey. I've got that many bits of bloody paper.
Well, guess how many views my channel's had this over the last 28 days?
I don't know. Far too many.
Primarily thanks to the last couple of videos. And it is 410.2 thousand.
Oh, good. Good. Oh, I've lost me a bit of frigging paper. I'm sorry about this, Chris.
All right.
Bloody hell. Trouble is, I've got that much information, I can't keep it all in my own head. Where the What have I done with it? Don't tell me I haven't printed it out. Golden ratio. Right, here we go. Right.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
start
ready.
again. Right, yeah.
And action.
Yeah, so when you're looking at number 13, which is 144,000, if you're in the third order of magnitude, on September the 11th, 2008, if you look at the increasing on function, basing an age, an astrological age at 2,160 years, 13 cycles after that on the next order of magnitude, because 911 is going up. It's 9 cycles of 11 of the first order. Does that make sense on the base 10 numbers?
I think so.
Brings you to the 11th of December 2017, which is 13 days before Jupiter entered Virgo on the 23rd of September 2017. Well, if you understand your Revelation 12 prophecy in the Bible, it says, "And then there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, upon her head a crown of 12 stars." And it tells you about where Jupiter is exiting the womb of Virgo. So basically, if you look at the constellation of Virgo, Jupiter went into Virgo, stationed, and then came back out retrograde, or one way or the other. And that was 2017. But that was 13 days. So you were doing yearly cycles, which is 1.25 years, like something like 453 days. So 13 cycles that then brought you from 2008, September the 11th, 2008 to December the 11th, 2017. Now they're both 11s, so that's next one of the next series, isn't it? Yeah. So you're moving on from that. And so if you understand how the astrological ages are working, you can see how the various star signs are predicted in the Bible and who gains control over what's going on in the world. But it's also talking about interdimensionality. So the 144,000 go into heaven. Well, if you're heaven, if your body's your earth, then your mind is your heaven. And that's through the pineal gland that sits at the crossroads. So you've got to work out whose pineal gland is sat at the crossroads. Does that make sense?
Isn't everyone's pineal gland there?
Pardon?
Isn't everyone's pineal gland there?
Well, it is at the crossroads because you have 2 hemispheres of the brain.
And it's right there in the centre.
Yeah, well, it's there, sort of, yeah, in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, right in the middle of the baby's head. So, therefore, the pineal gland is known as the epiphysis body. Now, the word epiphany is an apparition of God on earth. So, if the mind of God comes down through your soul and it's animated by the Spirit of God, then your soul has created your body through electromagnetism and the sort of alteration of the density of light coming from the sun. So this is where you get the colour of man. When they say the colour, pardon?
Hue.
Yeah, hue man. The hue of man is the colour of man. So the human body is not the man. So this is where, when you're getting into law, I think what they're doing is they're using names to drag you down a dimension. Then you claim the name of the wrong dimension, and then you are dealt with accordingly. Because you see, if the crown has claimed the whole of God's earth for the protection of man, then if you claim to be a man's body, then you have to be dealt with according to the laws of man's body. If you go into a courtroom and say, I claim the name of an account, your body is treated with in the sense of the name of the account. So if you think about your recent videos where the police are beating the shit out of somebody to put him in jail and arrest him, well, they shouldn't be doing that, because the officers of policy should be dealing with the policies and following the policies correctly. But they are making the assumption that all these bodies belong to the crown. They don't belong to the crown in London, the imperial crown. They belong to the crown chakra, which is above your head, of the man who owns the body. But you see, who owns the man? God owns the man. So it's all been jinked down in order.
This is why I always argue you can't sell your soul. When they say, "Oh, we sold my soul," you can't, because it ain't yours to sell. It's God's.
You're right.
It's God's.
Well, actually, you do sell your soul, because
Do
you
you?
sign on. You sign on to a bank account with your name, and then you work, which is your soul energy, and you store your soul energy as money in their bank account. But what they've done, they've reversed it on us
Okay.
by dragging us down a dimension. Does that make sense as well?
Kind of. So how do we drag ourselves back up then?
Well, I'm still presently working on that, but it's
Okay.
basically I'm putting the thesis out. Putting the thesis out.
Okay.
Because if I've got a thesis, and it was Theseus who went into the labyrinth to kill the Minotaur, which is interesting because he was a Greek. And the Greek philosophy is that we're all equal under God. Well, that's fair enough. I get that. I'm happy to be equal with everybody else. And the setting up of corporate titles separates property that's allocated to the soul of God. So if you work for something, if it's your house, you can prove it's your house through the corporate title. But you are not the corporate title, and you are not the body, and you are not the soul connection between the body and the mind. You are, in fact, the mind of God in that sense.
Okay.
So your head's full of magic rocks, yeah, because they sense all the blooming monkey business vibrations coming from God or from the mind of God, but the mind of God isn't contained within your brain. So what I'm postulating is the brain might do
Brain's an
processing
antenna,
on the
isn't
earth.
it?
It's an antenna. So yeah, precisely. So there's areas of the brain that deal with all the sensory organs of the body, so you can experience the third dimensional realm. And then it crosses up through the spinal cord into a part called the pons, which is Latin for bridge. So you cross the bridge and you go into the epithalamus, and outside the epithalamus you have the pineal gland. So that's the devil outside of the temple. But if you put the devil in the temple, then you think that you are your body, but it's the devil. It's sitting at that crossroads. So not only is it sitting at the crossroads of the two hemispheres of the brain and the interface between the brain's processing ability on the third dimension to process the information of the third dimension, but also it's then sending it out to the pineal gland to send it up to your mind, which is the greater knowledge of universe in that sense, if that makes sense. Again,
it does kind of make sense, and it does still kind of tie into what I always go on about, the sacred secretion.
Yeah. Well, the anointed one is bathed in oil. Well, yeah,
Crystals.
The anointed one is the pineal gland. But what they've done...
Just bear with me. The cat keeps yowling at me because it wants to go out.
Yeah.
Bear with me. Have you got a cat?
My hands on my head, you see.
Have you got a cat or a dog?
To edit.
Yeah. Cheers.
Oh, blimey.
I think also me not being there might help.
Yeah. So what am I talking about now? Yeah.
We talked about sacred secretion and stuff, and then
the sacred secretion. So the sacred secretion, with the raising of the Christus oil, which is the oil that goes up and down the spine, you're talking about Kundalini energy, and that's described as a spiral. Well, that could also represent DNA. Well, the
I've
signals
also heard it's
both...
satanic.
Well, it probably is. Yeah,
like Kundalini. I mean that whole practice.
But you see, if the devil sits at the crossroads and the devil is the pineal gland outside of the temple in the brain, then the pineal gland itself is a physical artifact. So you are controlled on this earth by the devil. Therefore, the earthly realm, the third dimension, is indeed the devil's playground, because we come down from heaven, enjoy ourselves, and it's grand on earth, apart from other idiots who've twisted things to their own advantage so that we lose out.
So in this context, would you say the devil's bad? Because I always assumed the devil and demons are all pretty much just your desires, your attachments to earthly belongings, money, greed, sex.
Well, there's nothing wrong with too much of that, even in the right proportions. But if you look at the etymology, the French word for world is monde. And
Mond.
so monde, yeah. So demond is of the earth. Your body is of the earth. So your body is demonic in its structure.
Default. By default.
So if you're...
Is that why we're sinners?
Yeah, because we've joined together, synthesized. You're man-made.
And we're come here on the devil's holiday.
Pretty much, yeah. Could say that. Well, a dead body is a soul departed. Your soul's disappeared and you can't talk to a dead body.
It's also a corpse.
It's a corpse. So your body is a corpse without the animation of the soul, but the soul, it contains the spirit. So then you're getting into alchemy. Now, lots of people scoff and laugh the moment you mention alchemy. Oh, there's no such thing as alchemy. You can't turn lead into gold.
So well, I was talking to somebody about alchemy, and alchemy, al,
yeah,
stands for God.
Yeah.
And so alchemy, alcohol, but he was saying that this God is of this earth, not divine. So alchemy is still all very much on the darker side if we go down the devil is naughty.
Well, yeah, but then you're getting back into interdimensionality. I would suggest it depends on which direction you're traveling. Because you see, I sent you that daft video this morning of Jamie and the Magic Torch.
And what did he do? I remember that as well.
Yeah, I could. Because I remember it was a daft blooming video, a daft cartoon. Jamie shines his torch on the floor and he opens up a whole new realm. But he does it at night under the moon. So which way is he traveling? Is he traveling from the earth up into the heavens in his dream world? Or is he traveling from dream world up in the heavens back down onto earth? Because the Aboriginals call it dream time, don't they?
Well, if he's shining a torch down onto the ground,
yeah,
his direction has to be down.
So therefore he must be up in heaven because he's asleep in the dream world. His magic torch is his dream world.
But that's
magic.
Yeah. It could also be. It could also be. What do you call it? An analogy for the silver cord that is supposed to keep you attached to your higher self.
Yeah. Well, the Latin word for silver is argentum, and the word argent means to shine, which is a book by Stephen King, isn't it?
The Shining.
Yeah, because that's a Saturnalian-based book.
With red rum.
Exactly what? Pardon?
With red rum.
Murder. Won the Grand National, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Used to run up and down Southport Beach. But anyway, yeah, what I was going to say. Gone out of my head now. See, I've lost connection with spirit.
Have you got him on quick dial?
Pardon?
Have you got him on quick dial?
Sometimes, yeah. You see, telephones, computers, it's fourth dimensional. You put all your information into a computer, which is a construction of man, it reflects it all back to you on a black screen.
Well, like they say, merrily, 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 life is but a dream. I think, they tell you all this in theatre, in films, in plays, in music.
Oh, there's so many songs. It just beggars belief if you actually start looking into the deeper meaning of the lyrics and the symbologies of the videos. Even Dark Star by Black Star by David Bowie. That was quite some blooming album if you looked at the symbology of that with his spaceman and his suit.
Well, was that his last album?
Yeah.
Yeah, on his deathbed album, so to speak.
So they tell you. The Thin White Duke. Is that the Thin White Duke going into your big black guitar there? The beam of white light.
Where we live.
Well, yeah, it's other way.
Huh?
You Floyd one.
Oh, this. Sorry, what, that over
Yeah,
there.
there's a yeah, your
The
thin white
prism.
line.
The prism
Yeah,
that then
there's a
goes
thin
into
white
what
duke
should be
hitting
the
the
prism
prism.
and the
Yeah,
line. See, now that is technically how it should be, isn't it? You've got the straight rainbow. People will
yeah.
tell you that the reason why the rainbow is bowed is because of the dome, the firmament above it. What do you make
Well,
of
it will
that?
be. Yeah,
Is that something you
possibly.
support? Yeah, I don't
Well,
know. I'm not trying to put words into your mouth. Why do you, that's
if,
what I've heard.
if you're looking at your alchemical symbols, you've got your upward pointing triangles and your downward pointing triangles. Yeah. So you've got where are we looking here now? Notes. Your fire is an upward pointing triangle and it's red. Air is an upward pointing triangle and it's yellow. Water is a downward pointing triangle and it's blue. And earth is a downward pointing triangle and it's green with a bar on it. Now, I've been looking into your tribes of Israel and all the different colours of the banners. So Reuben's banner is red. Simeon is green. Dan is blue, dark blue. And then Judah is sky blue with a golden line on it. And I've been looking at the way the ages move round. Now, the previous age, fire was Reuben, and it was the star sign Cancer. Air was yellow, Aries and Judah. Water was blue, Capricorn and Dan. And then earth was green, Libra, which is Asher.
Mm-hmm.
So Asher is the symbol of Capricorn currently. So everything's moved round. So now we've got the fire is the upper red triangle of Simeon, tribe of Judah. So they are the southern tribe. Upward is Taurus, Issachar, which is yellow. Water is downward, Aquarius, Reuben, blue. So water's
Oh,
blue, sorry. Reuben's red. So there's your magnets, you see. So Reuben's lined up with the tribe of Dan. So the tribe of Dan is in the north and Reuben is in the south. So if you're looking at two rainbows coming together, then you've got, depending on your direction of travel. So if you're coming out or going in to the dimension. So if you're coming out of heaven and onto earth, you're heading towards the black of the earth. Whereas if you're on the earth, you're on the black of the earth, heading up to the white sun of heaven. So that's the two triangles coming together, and where they meet, blue and red becomes purple. So you're back to Tony Blair and his crazy purple ties, which is quite interesting because if you're looking at your dipole electron flood theory, where your frequency increases as you go up to heaven from the earth. So the earth's black, and then at the bottom of the rainbow, if you like, if it's a full circle, the bottom's red, and then you go yellow, and it keeps going. You get to blue, purple, and then the white light in the middle, which is the sun, and then you're in the heavens because you're above the sun, and then you go in purple and then blue, and then it carries on going from there.
okay.
But if
You
you're
realize
coming,
you realize you've just done that, so now everyone's going to think you're a mason. Yeah.
we'll do a bit of that and all,
Bit of-
whatever else they bloody are doing.
Go on, let's do a screenshot for our let's do a thumbnail for the podcast. Go on, cover one eye or something. Yeah. Sorry, you got to keep them entertained.
So if you imagine looking down Venturi, you're either at the center point of the Venturi, and then you're getting back to Cuthbert's Cross. Well, Cuthbert's Cross looks like a full circle of a Maltese cross almost, which are the Venturis, with the center point right in the middle is the ruby stone, which is the tribe of Reuben. So Reuben is at the center. So if Reuben is the son and he's the firstborn, then he is in heaven and on earth at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you cast your light up into heaven and you cast your light down onto earth both ways if you are of godly mind. But this is all worked out astrologically. So recently, you see the previous age, the fire, which is the upward red triangle, was Cancer. So that's the southern tribes. That's Pharaoh. Pharaoh is the one who controls the pyramid. Well, the dollar bill's got a pyramid on it. So the Eye of Providence is controlled by Pharaoh. Well, we're told that the king has cancer, which is telling you that the king, as in the royal family, as in Charlie Boy, is in cancer. So the ages move round. So it's moved round. So the fire's now in Simeon, which is Judah. So it's moved.
Okay, so you're saying that
on the whole astrological clock.
So you're saying that when they say that Sausage Fingers has got cancer, they're referring to something more.
He's telling you
symbolical.
It's symbolic in that he's been left behind in the previous age. He's the king of the previous age, so he has no power. But we haven't worked that out yet. Although I think I'm sort of on the way to working it out, but some of my thoughts are still a bit jumbled.
Well, it's quite a head fucky subject to try and get your head around, to be fair, isn't it?
Well, it's enormous because I'm dealing with number series, physics, the Bible, books of law, and how the court system works, and everything you can think of. Absolutely everything you can think of. So if you think of the Celtic cross at the moment, we've got Simeon under the law of Judah is administering the trusts because they're the king of the south. This is going back to the Bible. So if you're incorrect, king of the north makes war with the king of the south. You've got air, which is Taurus, yellow bar is Issachar. Issachar is the donkeys. So the donkeys take Christ into the temple. Or the donkeys carry Christ to Jerusalem, should I say, get that right. So Jerusalem is the house of bread, the mind.
And
so
let me just quickly, I was just going to say quickly, for anyone who's interested in the tribes of Israel, we have covered a podcast on that. And if I remember, I will leave a link to that podcast in this notes description. Okay, carry on.
Right there, I think that'd be very useful actually, because they might have half an idea of what I'm actually talking about. I've got almost half
that's
an
kind
idea.
of why I said it, because I know that we have
covered. Yeah.
I didn't want.
I think what confuse. It is, there's so many sort of spheres of knowledge all have to sort of be linked together. You can't do it all at once. So you start talking about one bit and then you end up talking about another bit. And next thing you know, it seems like you're talking nonsense. So trying to keep it on track without going off at a tangent whilst talking around in circles is very, very difficult. Confused myself. I mean, I
have a belly button.
I know it within myself, but explaining it's very difficult. Yeah. So the downward pointing blue triangle is Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is now governed by Reuben, which is interesting because what's happening there, if you start looking at your tribes of Israel, the tribe of Dan, it has a dark blue banner. And on the tribe of Dan, you have an eagle. Well, the eagle is the symbol of St. John. And the St. John the Baptist baptizes Christ. Well, the water carrier in the zodiac sign of Aquarius is a man tipping a jug of water out. Well, why is he tipping the water out? Who's he carrying the water for? Well, the water baptizes Christ. So St. John is baptizing your pineal gland with the light of Lucifer from above, because the light of Lucifer is the energy, frequency, and vibration that the pineal gland receives from the greater mind of your soul, which is godly in essence. If that makes sense to you. You're looking very confused, Christopher.
So you're saying Lucifer is the one that activates your pineal gland?
Yeah.
As opposed to, oh, holy God.
Well, God threw Lucifer out of heaven and cast his down to earth. So if St. John is pouring down his water jug onto earth, then his energy rains down onto earth. Looking very confused there, Chris.
It's not difficult to confuse me.
So okay. if the devil on earth.
So essentially, we're all worshipping Lucifer then.
Well, because
anyone that meditates, anyone that is all into that Zen, and
well, we're living upside down, back to front, and inside out world. So anything that you're told, which way round actually is it? Which direction are you traveling? You see, if you're traveling from white to black, Yeah, you start at purple and end up at red. But if you're traveling from black to white, you start at red and end up at purple.
And we're
So if you
talking
want
about the
to,
spectrum here of the.
yeah, yeah. So again, this is getting you into, oh, blinking out, where's it gone? More bits of paper than I've got. Let's put your hands on your head. Shit, blimey. Too many notes. I can't find them. Oh, where's it gone? Bollocks.
Whilst you're fanning about, have you heard any more about your court case?
Oh, I just pled guilty to a lesser charge and just got it paid off. But if I knew what I know now, I'd just go in there and fuck them over, hopefully. But that would have been a bit
So how much
dodgy.
did that end up costing you then?
About £1,000.
Okay.
See, that's enslavement through financialism. But it's my money to start with, the cheeky bastards.
Although it's evil.
Oh, I can't find it. Oh, sorry about this, Chris.
It's all right. See, you were so bloody keen to start.
Yeah, I know, but there's, like I say, it's that much.
But I do need to wrap up by 4 though, and it's 28 minutes past 3 now.
That's all right, yeah. For fuck's sake, I'm not married to shed. Revelation 12, I think it is. Ah, this is it. Right. Revelation 17. What was I talking? Yeah. So, depending on which way you're traveling, if you're going from black to white, so if you take the earth as black and your body as a black body that radiates red heat, which is the low frequency light, which is infrared, and you want to go to the white light, which is the sun, which is ultraviolet, then you have to increase your frequency, and that's done through orders of magnitude. Now, in Revelation 17, it says, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet to come. So if you think of the colours raising up from red, you see, you go
Which
in,
is also your solar plexus color chakra. So it's your lowest.
Exactly. You're getting on point there. So if you think of the rainbow and your crown chakra is above your head, right? And your crown chakra is purple because it's the imperial color. Right in the very center of the purple, it's white. Well, if you look at the imperial crown, which is in the White Tower of London, it's a purple crown all wrapped in gold with the Maltese cross on the top, which is showing you what's going on, and the holy hand grenade, which is the orb with the Maltese cross on it. Right in the center of that, they've got this bloody big diamond, which is white carbon. Yeah. Now, your body is black carbon, effectively, and the earth is black carbon. So you're raising up. So it said there's 7 kings, 5 have fallen, and 1 is yet to come. So if you start, you've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Well, 5 have fallen. So where are you up to? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue. The blue is the light blue, and that's the light blue of Judah. So the Judaic law has turned itself inside out. Now we're going to dark blue under the tribe of Dan. And the tribe of Dan is dark blue. Well, the tribe of Dan is now in charge of Aquarius, which is the age of Asher.
Is that the age we're now in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
which is exposing.
But the tribe of Dan, the tribe of Jan is the judges, and the judges are under the administration of Reuben, which is the firstborn. Now, if you then take Reuben as the firstborn, when you popped out your dear mother as a little baby, you were the firstborn. The secondborn was the placenta. Who took the placenta? The crown, and they issued their debt currency off the placenta. So they named, yeah. Now, you're then getting into etymology of placenta. Well, Latin is flat cake and Greek is flat plate. So you birthed with your mother earth. So your mother's body was created by man, that's in the mind of man, up in heaven, from the constituent elements of the physical earth. And then your mother and father got together, so that's 1 + 1 = 2. On your Fibonacci sequence coming out, but you come out of nowhere because you come in from another dimension because your soul animates your body. Well, the physical body was created in the mother's womb, so you're taking your mother's earth, and then you come out of there. and then you're born into a different realm. So you're born onto this earth, and when you're on this earth, the crown looks after all your worldly affairs. But that's in the city of London, so that's St. Paul in the Tower. But St. Peter's in Rome
And
looks
by look
after your
after, you
soul.
mean stole.
Yeah,
Mm.
but that's due to the administration of the accounts and who was doing it, because Reuben wasn't in charge of it. Simeon was. Simeon is the city of London, which is why they had the sword on the English flag.
Simeon, you're a cunt.
He's a bit of a bugger. However, it's all moved round. It's all moved round. So Simeon is now, oh my God, more bits of paper. Here we go. Right, get the right one. So yes, Simeon, which is the southern tribe, is now governed by Judaic law. So Simeon has to do as he's told. But who does he do as told by? He does as told by the judges, the tribe of Dan, and the tribe of Dan is administered by the tribe of Reuben. So Reuben is the firstborn. So we are all of the tribe of Reuben. Interestingly, King Charles is of the tribe of Reuben through the Danish family, through the kings of Denmark. Now, the Danish flag is a red flag with a white cross over the top. So that means white is over red, which means the sun in the sky, which appears white, is over the red of Reuben on the earth, which is black.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about inverted rainbows.
Yeah.
But he's in the last age because he's got cancer. He hasn't moved round on the lower kingdom, which is the south, on the Maltese cross, which is signified by St. Cuthbert's device. So where's my other bit of paper gone? I've got so many bits of paper, I don't know where I'm looking. Here we go. So if you look at Revelation, we have John is the eagle, tribe of Dan. John is in the north. Luke is the bull, tribe of Ephraim, and Luke is in the west. Matthew is the tribe of Man, and he's in the east, and he's signified by Reuben. And then Mark is the lion, and he's in the south, tribe of Judah. So that's telling you what's going on with regard to the cross. And in the center of that is the devil. So they all rotate around the devil, and you are the devil on the earth, seeking the light of Lucifer to get back to heaven. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
We are in. So you're.
I'd be interested to know if anyone watching this is.
Oh yeah, I'll confuse the bejeebers. Oh, I'm trying to write a book about this, but getting it written down in a way that makes sense, I don't know. I mean, I know I sent you some of my writings, and I've written a bit more since, so they're incomplete. I don't know what you think of them, whether they've confused the heck out of you.
I'm easily confused. It's well written.
Well, thank you very much.
No, it's well written. No. I am going to need to go back to it because.
Yeah.
It's something that you can't read once and go, oh yeah. But no, it's well constructed.
Well, hopefully it's better constructed than my ramblings on your podcast, as helpful as it might seem.
Again, you will have to ask the audience that. True
enough. So yeah, firstborn. When your physical body's born onto the earth, they cut you off from your root. And what I mean by that is they cut the umbilical cord from the placenta, and then they take the placenta away, proclaim the placenta dead to make the debt-based currency from.
And they cut it away way too early.
They certainly do. But you see, that's getting into the Shakespeare play Merchant of Venice, which is Shylock of Venice wants his pound of flesh from Portia. Basically, he wants to steal a child, but they don't. He wants his pound of flesh. Well, I would guess, I haven't researched this yet, but I'm getting around to it, that the placenta weighs about a pound. So if it's drained of blood, all the rest of it, because the blood should go into the baby with all the stem cells. Gold. Yeah, worth your weight in gold. So I think that's what they're registering at Crown. You see, again, you're back into the etymology of gold is aurum, which is your aura, and silver is your currency, and argent meaning to shine. So your golden aura shines. I don't know where you noticed the new pound coins are silver and gold. So the round, as in your golden aura, but you're shining through it, which again, makes sense as a currency. The pound makes a good currency if we're in control of the money power. And I think if we understand how the system works better, then we can make this work better for ourselves. Because the genetic twin, which is Gemini, if you like, your genetic twin is not upstairs, it's the placenta. And that's your flat earth. It's your flat cake. You can't have your cake and eat it. Well, actually, it is our cake and we will eat it because you've registered it at Crown. So that means the Crown owes us, not the other way around. So in the Corona period, when everything was shut down, we all got paid to stay at home. So we all got our own share of everything. Now, I was in discussions with friends of mine, and one of them came up with the suggestion that the reason for the Corona period was a big stock take and quantity survey exercise, in so much as if everybody sits at home and does now, and we just have essential services, how many people do we need to run these services, and how much do we need to pay everybody to get by on minimum wage, based upon a debt-based currency that the Bank of England owes us. But anything you want to earn personally is your business. So they base that on the gold of your aura, but then you can make a gentlemanly arrangement between anybody else in business and trade in the value of silver. So like I was talking to you last time about the value of bonds in silver and gold. And also I have a feeling, although I haven't managed to prove it yet, that the original bonds in the Bank of England were predicated on silver currency and not gold. So the world's banks, central banks, will all be hoarding gold for the purposes of issuing bonds, but the Bank of England will be the last one standing after they collapse the dollar under Donald Trump's bankruptcy, because that's the dollar's based on gold, and then England will be able to clear its debt. Because I've done some other calculations, because again, we're getting back into Egyptian monkey business with the use of a pledged name to do magic on the owner of the name, which again sounds a bit mad. The Washington Monument is 555 feet tall, and Canada, number one Canada Place on the Isle of Dogs, well, dog is God written backwards, which is where the world's banking is 771 meters tall. So if the United States debt is $38 trillion measured in gold, and the Bank of England debt, therefore, is $53 trillion measured in gold, because an obelisk is used as a high watermark in a port. So where do you dock? You dock in the city of London through your birth certificate, but they dock your dead twin, which is the placenta, but you're still alive. But your body is of God, because your body is the face of man, which is Reuben, who is now in control of the judges up in heaven through St. John pouring his light onto the earth. Now, the earth is your body, and your head and your mind is the heavens. So your father in heaven and mother earth. So a man's body, whether it's a male or female body, neck down or flesh-wise, is female, because that is your mother earth. And your father is in heaven, as in your mind. So your father, God, tells your mother earth what to do. And that's a marriage made in heaven. Second coming of Christ will be born of a man. So therefore, that then makes sense. I know it sounds a bit crazy, but you've got to understand the Bible was written in a way that you couldn't understand it, so you couldn't subvert it. So only very, very clever people have managed to work this out and subvert it. And I'm now in the process of trying to untangle it. And again, it all sounds arse about face backwards. Again, what does that mean to you?
More so just, you know, if it's coming from somebody that, or to somebody that doesn't understand anything along those lines anyway.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in. And I'm sure there'll probably be lots of people scratching their heads. But I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, if that makes sense. It's just that I think you kind of need to have some kind of grip on it to start with, to understand what you're...
You certainly do. I mean, I've got a reasonably good grip on it. However, there's a maxim that suggests that if you understand something, you can explain it simply. Well, I don't think I've quite managed that today.
No.
So this is why I'm in the process of attempting to write a book. Now, see in the background, you've got a copy of that book.
I have.
Well, I've been conversing with this fella. Now he did it. I found out about this chap off
I need to get him on as well for a podcast.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Now there's this book, Behold Jerusalem, which I've just been reading, and this is about symbols in the landscapes. Now I've been writing to him regarding Gemini, because it turns out I was born in a town called Ormskirk. Where's it gone? Can't find it.
You were?
Yeah, I was born in Ormskirk, page 115. Let's have a look. Here we go. Oh, I don't know whether you can see that on the screen. So Ormskirk's right in the middle here. Well, the church in Ormskirk is St. Peter, St. Paul. St. Paul is the tower, King of the North, as in St. Paul's, London. St. Peter is the steeple pointing up to heaven. St. Peter is in heaven, you see, in Rome. And I lived in a town just north of there called Burscough, and in Burscough they had a priory, and the priory was dedicated to St. Nicholas. Well, St. Nicholas is Santa Claus, isn't he? So the claws of Satan, right, is written in the Bible. Now, the parish of Burscough is St. John's.
I used to love Christmas.
And I'm thinking, bloody hell, you can't make this nonsense up. Now, interestingly, they've just moved Christmas to July, haven't they? Did you not see that? They were somebody's moved Christmas to the middle of June.
What a country.
Yeah, they did it. I think it was in Bridlington, and there was a big hoo-ha about it, which I thought was funny.
I know they had like a Christmas fete on one of the beaches.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, oh bloody hell, where's it gone? Where's it gone? I'll find it in a minute. Here we go. I've been looking at birthstones. St. Cuthbert, which is interestingly a church just west of Ormskirk in Halsall, is dedicated to St. Cuthbert. And right in the middle of Cuthbert's device is a ruby. Now, if you look onto birthstones by time frame, the birthstone ruby, where's it gone now? In the United States in 1912, in the United Kingdom 2013, and again in the United States 29 is ruby, but previously it was turquoise. And that's July. So that was just the other month they did this. I've realised this today, so this is not very well researched as yet. But they've swapped the bloodstone ruby from December to July, and they've got turquoise. They've swapped it ruby for turquoise. So why have they done that on birthstones? So the birth of Christ is no longer, according to this, December. It's now July. So well, they've moved Christmas.
It was never December anyway, was it?
Oh God,
December
knows,
didn't even. Did it exist back then? Is Deck 10?
But they've changed the birthstone. So what I'm suggesting here is, if the symbol of St. Cuthbert is dipole electron flood theory, where you go interdimensional through orders of magnitude by raising your frequency till you get into the next dimension. If we want to leave the third dimension and understand that we're actually fourth dimensional in our minds, and we're of God, which is fifth dimensional, then we have to increase our frequency of mind to raise ourselves up to heaven, or bring heaven down onto earth, rather than the mess we've got at the moment. So if the ruby is the gemstone, St. Cuthbert, they've moved it to where the sun is in its full power rather than its lowest power. Because it's gone from July, which is the summer solstice, from December. Do you remember David Icke? Last time I said purple tracksuit, and somebody corrected me in the comments, it was turquoise. Well, that comment has prompted me to look at birthstones, and I've discovered that this morning. The birthstone for July in the 20th, from the 15th to the 20th century, was turquoise, and they've exchanged it for ruby, which is the December. So they've moved the gemstone into the centre of the St. Cuthbert's Celtic cross, back to the ruby.
Oh, there you go. Bloody hell. That's a bit
bloody hell. So there's what I'm saying here is there's astro-theological monkey business going on to move the tribes of Israel, which are star signs, and shift them all about, so that whoever what's the word, administrates the trust has control over the trust. The trust that's formed through your birth certificate, they had control over it, but I have a feeling they've lost control over the trust because of this sort of magic, if you like.
Yeah, quite possibly. Quite possibly. Not that I would know. But listen, I'm going to have to wrap it up because I've got another one in 10 minutes. So thank you very much for your time and your knowledge and your talking and your
My
where's my
energy.
paperwork? Where's my paper? No,
Oh my God.
it's been great. And I
Like I
hope
say,
everyone watching it's enjoyed it as well.
well, yeah, hopefully I'm going to get this down in a book and refine it so you can read it and make more sense of my
Brain.
ramblings, because there's that much of it, it comes out in a jumble, and I've got to sort of
Condense it.
correlate this properly, condense it,
Mm,
that's the word, so it
yeah.
makes sense.
Well,
Yeah.
I wish you all the very best. And once it's done, you know that I will plug it for you. So
Thank you very much.
no problem at all. But yeah,
But I
I'm
think
gonna have.
Larry Cypress will make you a good guest.
Okay, well, I'll have to see if I can get hold of him then. But
Yeah, yeah.
nice one, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for sticking around if you're still here. And until next time, take care, and I will speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.
It's all right.